Yeah, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Damn, I'm still the last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. 'Cause that's what it takes.
Good morning, guys. Let me get old Clint off the screen here. There he goes. All right. Happy Tuesday, January 20th. We got a little bit of a sell-off in the markets today, thanks to some presidential news about tariffs and Greenland's bond market selling off. The headlines here on CNBC says sell everything. The US dollar, treasury prices tumble, and gold, and I bet silver too, spikes as globe flees US assets. Let's see how the gold and silver juniors are looking this morning. GDXJ up 4.5%, SILJ 3.92%. These on the top here, these are our baskets of gold and junior silver miners. SLV, which I am long in, is up almost 6% today. I've just been holding. If it looks red overnight, I just close my eyes and go back to sleep. So far, that plan's worked out well. 85.80 on SLV. Highcroft this morning, $39. Holy cow! Up 13% on HYMC. Some of the tickers I was looking at in pre-market today, I put in the stream title. That would be up here in the top right. ONDS, ONDS Holdings. It sold off in pre-market, but bounced back 7.5% up now once the market opened. I'm going to probably be drawing some demand and supply zones here on the chart this morning for ONDS. We're watching GameStop just because, you know, a lot of people are watching GameStop. $20.76. I like to buy GameStop when it's cheap. That means close to $20. My most recent two buys were at 2020 and 2015. We'll see if we retest that. And what else we got? Oh, AMC. AMC is down almost 3%. I don't own any AMC, just so we're clear. I do cover a lot of tickers that I don't own because there are some speculative tickers that we are watching for a potential entry when the coast is clear. And, you know, the coast has not been clear on AMC since 2024. I've been out of the trade since then, carefully waiting. We got another dilution event we're expecting around February 2nd, so I'll take a look after that and see. AMC GME, oh, Webull was another one that we were looking at. BULL. You know, maybe a potential Robin Hood in the making in a couple years. Up here in the upper right is our Webull chart. It is at 785. What did I say in the Discord this morning, Anya? I was setting my alarm to tell me to start paying attention if bull fell under 775, I think is what I said for an ad. I have Webull at 806 and 781. Those are my buys on Webull. If it drops below 775, let's say in the 735 or 750 range, if we don't hold this support, I have a couple. This was my first buy on Webull, 924. So I do a small entry, and then if I'm catching the falling knife, I don't like to do that. So I will take a very small entry if I think it is pausing. But as we know, often things keep going down. So I will add to the position as it finds the demand zone. And as it looks here, we have this demand zone between like 750 and 780. So that will be where I accumulate unless we break under that. We probably should draw those demand zones on here, just so we all are know what we're looking for on Webull. Still a early stock. Still early for Webull. And then the other one that we're kind of watching for a play, accumulate on weakness right now for a play middle of this year, is a OTC ticker RLAIF, Railtown AI Technologies, a Canadian AI sovereign play. If you want to get in on some AI stocks, but you know that most of them are controlled by private equity and venture capital, not publicly tradable, well, here is your opportunity to speculate on one as if you were a venture capitalist. You can buy the stock now. It is pre-revenue. We're expecting revenue middle of this year. Do your own DD on OTC and non-revenue stocks. Go watch my videos over the last 7 months. You can see my due diligence process as I first got made aware of Railtown. I was very critical of it in the beginning because of the shady people who promote tickers like this. They have a 4-year history of promoting failing stocks, not one winner. Well, there were plenty of winners, but they don't know when to sell. And so I came at Railtown a little bit hard, but as I dug into it, I learned to like what I see. Good management teams, good product, good sovereign Canadian AI play. But we need to see what the revenue numbers are. And people are throwing some wild numbers out there, what they think revenue is going to be. I don't do that here. I tell you, have a diversified portfolio. Make sure your speculative trades are small because, as we know, you could lose everything. You know, I'm not expecting to lose everything on Railtown. I'm just saying, when you don't have when you're trading a company that has no revenue, expect the unexpected. What we're hoping, the bullish speculative bet here, is that when some revenue posts on Railtown, that the ticker will take off. There was a lot of excitement here earlier in the year. It was trading at 62 cents. I published some TA on it back then and said, caution if it rejects here. That caution, as you can see, I drew the supply zone up here. That caution was warranted because as it rejected, it fell all the way back down to 25 cents. That warning I put out was in July on Twitter. And of course, we cover it almost every day in Discord. But, you know, these stocks are not worth doing a live stream on like a Railtown every single day because we're in a very long wait for news period. So just set it and forget it. If you're worried about it cratering, have a stop loss. I don't have a stop loss on this play. I kind of like buying down here in the demand zone. Looks like we need to probably extend this out. Let's scooch it over. If we break below this, I do have some good till canceled buys at the very bottom of this zone around 22 cents. A couple fractions of a penny above 22 cents is my next targeted buy-in. Should it collapse? It tends to collapse on Fridays. So almost all my buys on Railtown have been in the last, since December. I did pick up some hoping that this AIP deal would skyrocket it up, but very small position. It didn't skyrocket up, not to where I was hoping it would. So we turtle back into accumulate in the safety zone. And so 90% of my Railtown position has been picked up since December down here in this demand zone. And then we hope that holds. We hope that demand zone holds until they have news. That's what I'm doing anyways. Still very speculative. Anya, good morning. Kevin, good morning. In Montreal, holy shit. And I know Anya is up in, where is it? Maryland, Anya? Baltimore area? God dang, man. I can't imagine. Look, I did my time in North Dakota and Nebraska. So I know what y'all are going through. But I am happy to be down here in God's country in central Texas. Yes, it is cold here at night. We're getting down into the 30s. But like yesterday afternoon, 62, 65 degrees. Not too bad. Andrew, good morning. Good morning. I'm hoping we pick up some people from the ONDS community this week. ONDS Holdings had their investor day last week. I live streamed most of that. I put out a video which has the entire thing with maybe a 2-minute preamble from me. I am still trying to identify who are the pumpers, the bulls on ONDS on social media so that I can follow them and see what they're saying. I had a lot of comments in my videos and people in the chat that said, hey, Tony, we're not really happy because ONDS did not announce a major acquisition on their investor day last week. And so I want to know who was telling y'all there was a major acquisition. Because, I've been reviewing the company information and I didn't see any company notification that a major acquisition announcement was pending. So I want to know who is filling your guys' heads with thoughts. I want to follow those accounts because I want to track who's pushing the social media narrative. I have a much more reasonable view on ONDS. This, for me, is another speculative play growing from, whatever their current revenue is. What was their most current revenue? ONDS. Trailing 12 months, 24 million. And we think they're going to 150, 180 million in revenue over the next several years. Could be an interesting play, but they did have a private placement also announced in the past couple weeks. January 12th, I think. Yeah, $1 billion. $1 billion to fund the coffers for future M&A and scaling up operations. It was a combination of shares and warrants. Some of those, obviously, shares are immediate dilution. Pre-funded warrants, I believe, could be considered immediate dilution. And then there were some other warrants, 121 million, which, if I'm not mistaken, have an exercise price around, here we go, $28 a share. So that is potential future dilution. And that's fine. If the company is able to grow, then you want people who are investing in the company to exercise those warrants and provide future capital for the company. And, would you be mad if there was a little bit of dilution at $28 if you're getting in cheap right now? Probably not. You know it's out there. It's out there, so trade it accordingly. Let's draw some supply zones on here. 57 cents back in March, this thing was trading at. 54 cents in August of last year. 55 cents. I kind of like this zone. Yeah, there is a major support at $5, but I'm gonna demand and supply zone it's a little bit of science and it's a little bit of magic. But I'm gonna go more in this recent support zone here. And I hope y'all are on board with this. If you're not, it's okay. So we're going to say right about come on. So that would be kind of like my ideal, like if I could just be patient, and if the bullish momentum doesn't come back, I mean, look at it. Look at this green candle here on the daily. We had 6 days of downward trend in ONDS, and today it's coming roaring back. So this is kind of a wait and see. In my mind, I was pretty bearish in pre-market this morning, but now we got to reconsider. Is this a bull trap, a one-day rally, or is this going to be a new support? We will find out. The charts, give us clues, but every day it's a bull and bear battle, and on any given day, news can change, both in the economy and from the company itself. So kind of like, for me, the safe zone, if you're a very risk-averse trader. Down here around 7, let's move this up here to about $7.75. 725, 775. That does not mean that it's going to come back down there. I'm just saying, if it does, I'd be much more motivated to load up a larger position down there. Let's see over the next coming weeks what happens with this bull rally that began at the end of December, beginning of January. ONDS Holdings is a drone and AI company, and they have more than drones. They have landmine clearing machines. They're involved in energy, drone, anti-drone. I would say go, if you've never heard of this company, go watch my video that has the full Investor Day presentation and get up to date, because this company has a plan and they have the cash to fund acquisitions and become what I call kind of the Amazon of drone technology. They're going to have pretty much anything that a country, a defense network could want, all in one shop. And I kind of like that. It is speculative because they're very early in their growth curve. And I think it is reasonable to be cautious on a run up from 50 cents to $15. I mean, you never know, right? When we see something like a Palantir, if these things really catch fire with government contracts, how far things can go. I kind of, that demand zone that I drew there is kind of around a market cap of $3 billion, and we're at almost $6 billion right now. So I understand that's a very healthy pullback. Were it to happen, I don't know if it'll happen. Let's draw in our supply zone, which is newly established. This would be the zone where we would watch for lightening up. You know, if we were able to buy down here, we would lighten up and take some profits into a supply zone and then see if it breaks through. Then you let the rest ride. Because once a stock breaks through a supply zone, then you often can have major run up. The other thing that we look at in the supply zone is when it is retesting that. Why? Why did it get up there? Was there company news? Is it just bullish momentum? There are things you got to consider. It's not an automatic sell up here. It's just this is where we start paying attention, considering taking some profits. Come on. That is ONDS. Keith says, Tony, I'm back when bull. I'm keep buying at this range. I'm just your average retail investor trying to get my money back from AMC. Hey, bull crap. Keith, I hope you bought some Highcroft when it was cheap. Holy cow, man. Yeah, let's talk bull again for a second. BULL. I think did I draw the demand zones on that? No, we need to draw the demand zones on bull. Let's do that real quick. I did post about it in Discord this morning. That I set an alert right here at 775. That is my pay attention, Tony. You might want to think about putting some buy orders in. We're going to say demand zone between let's zoom in here. It's very close to where I add to my position. $750. Let's use that. More. I do own some Webull. I am slightly in the red. But for me, this is a multi-year hold unless some horrible news comes out that Webull is going bankrupt, and I'm not expecting that. So this is just a slow accumulate. Lots of patience. Wait for dips, wait for market corrections, wait for poor sentiment, and add to it. And I think if my time frame is 2 to 5 years, I think if I buy it 750, 825, I'm not going to care too much. That is my thesis right now. But obviously, I'd like to pick it up as cheap as possible, add on unexpected weakness, assuming that I'm still long-term bullish, so that the wait is less stressful. I don't have to sit there and look at a bunch of red on my portfolio. I don't like that. I like patient waits, not debilitating, demoralizing waits. So that's kind of where I would add Webull, and will add Webull. And then our supply zone up here around $10. It is my belief that at some point in the next couple of years, we're going to break through this supply zone unless they dilute the hell out of us. Always something we got to keep an eye on. All right, so there's kind of our markers on Webull. If it crashes under this, I need more coffee. Look at this, demand supply, demand zone, dummy. If it crashes below this demand zone, it's kind of like a whoops. I probably won't exit, unless there's some particular bad news. I would not exit on Webull. Even if it crashes below that, I'd be looking for, if there were bad news, I might take an exit, just take my lumps, wait for it to reconsolidate. But if it dips majorly below this, you know what can happen? Things can erode really fast below that, and we'll have to set a new demand zone. But for the moment, this is where I would like to add to my position. Gable, or is it Gabe? Gabe L. Werfer? I'm going to call you Gabe because that is easier. Gabe says, how is it possible AMC does not move at all if short volume is 20%? That is a good question, Gabe. How is it possible the stock is going down so much? Do you want the answers, really? Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat if you really want to know the answers. I know some of y'all just like to come here to vent, and I get it. But if you really want to know the answer to Gabe's question, give me a yes in the chat. I'm happy to recap all of the answers to his questions. Things we've been going over in the Discord since July. AMC's trading right at where I told the Discord in July of 2025 that it would be at this moment in time. 7 months ago in the Discord, I told you. Well, Tony, why didn't you tell us on Twitter and YouTube? Because I get sick and tired of the crybabies and the trolls and the, you're a clown. No. We read the filings. We get our DD from the company information. Very easy to predict this stuff. Craig says, what's your thoughts on the 100 million short interest? C12 says, I want the truth even though I can't handle the truth. I know. My due diligence is often not popular until the months go by to where it proves out to be true. And then people are like, God damn it, this fucker was right again. Motherfucker. I'm just kidding. Dave, how you doing? UK Dave. The reason AMC went down is that back in July, all right, this is my theory. We're waiting on an 8K to prove me correct. The final, like, close the book, finish the chapter to prove what's happening here. But my DD back in July was based on multiple company filings, agreements between AMC and the lenders to both adjust the maturities of debt and finish a lawsuit, settle a lawsuit. AMC took kind of a beating in that negotiation, and they said, we're going to hold a vote later this year to issue more shares to increase the shares outstanding, because we got some exchangeable notes here that have no shares to exchange. And once that vote passes, we're going to have a VWAP measurement period to determine the exchange rate on those notes. $154 million. This was all covered back in July. The only thing we don't know and didn't know and still don't know is when was that VWAP measurement period ending. For whatever reason, they didn't tell us. And normally you would be told how long the VWAP measurement period is. But that VWAP measurement period had a designated exchange rate collar between $1.50 and $2.75. Meaning, if the price, through manipulation, shorting, whatever you want to call it, could be driven down to $1.50 or lower, the lower they can push that average VWAP during the measurement period, the more shares the lenders will get when they exchange their notes. So my theory was nothing is in a filing by accident, and that lenders are always going to do whatever gives them the most profit. Those are like two underlying theories on any ticker. This is not any AMC negative, bearish. This is what I have learned in the last 4 or 5 years watching all of these retail tickers. Nothing is in a filing by accident. You should be paying attention to the filings, not social media bullshit. All the pumper nonsense. We will win. No, go read the fucking filings. Nothing's in a filing by accident, and the lenders are always going to do within the limits of the law and the legal trading methods they have available to them. They're always going to do what they can to extract maximum profit. We saw it with Antara and APE. Remember when they shorted it down to get the best exchange rate, and then what? It ran up. Do you remember that? I remember it. And I learned from it. And I've seen it in other tickers as well. So my belief back in July was the lenders would be incentivized, unless they were explicitly in the loan documents prevented from doing so, which I couldn't find. They would be incentivized to short this stock and push that average VWAP down. This fulfills many of the questions that you're asking. Why did the short interest go up? Because they're trying to push the price down. Why are they pushing the price down? To get the average VWAP lower. Why are they doing that? Because when the measurement period is done, that will maximize the number of shares they get. And now they're getting them at a 12.5% discount, even below the lowest price in that collar. Could be $1.50 minus 12.5%, thanks to that December 22nd 8K. The belief is when the VWAP measurement period is over, then the shorting pressure will stop, but the shorting pressure will stop because then they would want to, they'll flip and convert their shares. They would want to unload them into some run-up. And it is my belief, and I'm still waiting for it to be confirmed by some sort of company communication, that when we saw this massive volume spike and price spike, and we saw the price bottom out on January 8th, that was potentially the end of a 30 calendar day VWAP measurement period, 30 days from the vote. Maybe the 9th. Because what happened? We hit a bottom, the price skyrocketed, the volume skyrocketed. That is beautiful cover for lenders who just received 100 million shares to stealthily unload those shares on retail traders. This is my DD. This is my theory. You can judge me on it in the coming weeks and months. We're on 8K watch right now. I'm expecting in 8K that the notes have been exchanged, 154 million. That would be roughly 100 million shares in the hands of distressed money lenders who aren't interested in being, in my opinion, particularly not interested in being long shareholders. They have a history of converting and then selling the shares in whatever time frame they can. They don't want to crater the price. They just want to unload into strength. And you notice all the pumper accounts went full force. And anyone who's trying to talk to you guys about common sense, like me, they want to say I'm a shill. This is playing out exactly how we've been saying it would since July. Maybe it's just coincidence that everything I said would happen happened. Maybe it's just coincidence. Those lenders want to be rid of their shares, in my theory, before February 2nd, because around that date, the company's going to unleash a $150 million ATM. Because also my DD is that Q1 is going to be a major cash burn. And there was a reason at the end of December, we got that 8K where AMC paid a severe penalty in concession to the lenders to increase the ATM capacity they were legally constrained to from $50 million to $150 million. Why did AMC pay a severe penalty in terms of shares given to lenders at the end of December? Why did they agree to that? Do you think they increased the ATM capability from 50 million to 150 million for no reason? They just wanted to give more shares to the lenders with a 12.5% discount on the exchange rate and a $6.25 million fee in shares? Are they in bed with the lenders? No, they're not in bed with the lenders. They, in my opinion, my analysis, my cash flow and box office forecast for Q1, AMC, I'm trying to think like Sean Goodman. He's looking at the box office. He's looking at the cash. Q4 is going to be positive cash flow, but Q1 is going to be a horrible cash burn. And he's like, we can't have a 400 million free cash flow burn in Q1. We need to raise some money. Q1 this year will likely be slightly better than last year, but that's still a major cash burn. So sell the Hycroft shares, keep the warrants, get 24 million of cash on board. Ask the lenders if we can increase the ATM from 50 to 150. That's 175 million coming in between selling Hycroft and doing a full ATM. AMC is not trying to stop any run up. They're not trying to help the hedgies. They're literally trying not to file bankruptcy. That's all. It's really that simple. If you believe there's going to be a cash burn in Q1, which I do, the company doing an ATM in February makes perfect sense. Whether it's a regular at-the-market offering or a private placement like we had 1 year ago. Six Son, how you doing, buddy? So I have been sitting out this play since November, very carefully watching cash flow and box office. Last year never really gave us the box office we wanted, so there was never a safe point for me to re-enter. There might be one coming up. We are carefully watching. If we are correct in the very unpopular theory here, however, I think a theory very soundly based in facts and filings, if we're correct that there's going to be a dilution event at the beginning of February, then the price will likely tumble. I'm going to circle back to your original question. Why is the price not moving? But let's finish up the ATM talk. If the price tumbles on $150 million offering, that's another 100 million shares coming into the float. Then when I think that dilution event is over, when we see something on the chart like this and then bounce or go back a year, what happened? I got out here and we had a dilution offering here, 12.6. It went all the way down from like $5 to 250, 230 on about the same size offering that we're expecting in February. A 50% decline. Am I expecting a 50% decline from here? I'm not. I mean, I can't predict the future with perfection. But here's my answer to how low could it go and why is the price stuck? Let's wrap this AMC conversation up. I'm kind of figuring a market cap fully diluted with the shares we know about in RDD. I know they increased shares outstanding 550 million, but the price is not going to tank as if 550 million shares got dumped in the market, because there's no announcement of the company yet that they've dumped 550 million shares in. However, it's reasonable to conclude that over 100 million shares are going to be exchanged from the notes. And it's reasonable to conclude that 100 million shares are coming in an offering in February. So if we add 200 million to the free float, let's call the free float 550. That would be 750 million shares that I'm anticipating by the end of Q1, end of March, will be in the float whenever we get an announcement that the ATM's done. 750 million. And let's say we think that AMC is fairly valued at 900 million market cap. I know it says 800 million right now, but just stick with me. 900 million market cap. If that, you can have whatever number you think, but you know, that's a reasonably bullish market cap considering where we're at. Hopefully things will change later this year, but that market cap, 900 million divided by 750 million shares, means in our Discord, we have an expectation that the price could see $1.20 to $1.25. If you think the market cap of AMC is only worth 800 million, you'd have a lower price target. These price targets will play out when the dilution is fully announced, when the exchange of notes is announced and the ATM is announced. So those are kind of my internal, like, I want to carefully watch for an 8K and a prospectus about an ATM, and then see if the price moves to where I'm kind of thinking it will. And when that dilution is done, then maybe we have a speculative trade. Look here in 2025, when the dilution was done, it bottomed out around 250, ran up to $4. I mean, for a speculative trader, I'm not saying load the boat with AMC. I'm just saying, you know, if you like living on the wild side, that's not a bad trade. 250, 225 to $4. You got to be willing to hit the eject button though. And I don't know, you know, where the eject button will be for AMC after the next round of dilution. It depends on when it finishes up, how we're thinking about box office. We're pretty bullish about box office in general for the rest of the year. For the moment, my entertainment money is parked in MCS, Marcus Corp, and Cinemark. Marcus Corp is trading at 1570, Cinemark at 24. I don't hate AMC. I'm forecasting more downside risk. Let's put it that way. It's okay if you have a different risk view. It's okay if you don't agree with anything I said. I'm just laying out what I think. We're here to share due diligence, right? You can hold me not accountable, but you can either lift me up or throw me under the bus in a few months when we see what happens. And if you have a different opinion, then please do your own write-up on Reddit. Start your own YouTube channel. Leave me a detailed comment. Don't just say clown or you're wrong, because most of the time we're right on every ticker. You're wrong. No. You have failed to understand the timeline I'm projecting my DD into. I might be wrong today. I might be wrong next week. But I'm projecting through at least March or April. And we started this due diligence cycle in July. It's played out exactly like we thought. Yeah, UK Dave, Robert Citrone, Discovery Capital. Discovery Capital and what's that other one? Pentwater. Discovery Capital and Pentwater are two major distressed debt lenders to AMC. They are the two biggest that I know of owners of the exchangeable notes. I don't know who asked that question. Dave, UK Dave. I don't know if Discovery Capital did some filing ahead of the exchange of the notes because they know that they're going to exchange those notes for shares. They are, in essence, future owners of shares, at least for a short time. I don't know. I mean, I'm very curious about your question, and I have the same question. Either he pre-filed ownership because he's going to convert, or he really did go long for some reason. But my belief is that Discovery Capital and Pentwater will get shares and then sell those shares before the ATM. It is a good question. I don't have all of the answers. There's UBS. Didn't UBS go long on AMC too? There's a couple of unanswered questions. Not all DD is perfect, but what I look for is the chart telling me that my general theory is correct? Yes, it is. Gabe says why they need to do the ATM in Q1 and why immediately on February 2nd. There's going to be, I believe, a positive cash flow, positive operating cash flow, positive free cash flow in Q4. You're going to see everybody celebrate it. They're going to slap themselves on the back. They're going to say, see, we told you the other channels were too bearish. We were right. And they're going to ignore Q1 because they are scared shitless to talk about it. Everybody on YouTube is scared shitless to talk about Q1. So they're going to do a lot of back slapping and champagne popping over Q4. And then they're going to, oh, well, gosh. Well, we all knew that Q1 was coming. We're just catching our breath. There's going to be a cash burn in Q1. How do I know that? Well, I could be wrong if box office dramatically exceeds my expectations. I have a very reasonable forecast for box office, and I'm saying it will be very slightly better than last year. That is my current expectation. And last year, Q1, remember Q4, everybody was celebrating the positive free cash flow. And then what happened in Q1? Free cash flow, negative $417 million. Do y'all remember that? That was an ouchie. I remember that. Negative 407. Remember all the celebrating right here? And then everybody just disappeared except old Tony. Tony was like, that's why I sold. I told y'all in November of 2024 why I was selling, because I forecast a dilution event and a cash liquidity problem. The videos are still there. Huge cash burn. We broke even on free cash flow the next 2 quarters. There will likely be a slightly positive Q4 coming up. But is that going to matter if it's followed by negative 300 million? The company's cash, I'm not being negative, I'm just being factual here with you guys. The company's cash is at the lowest it has ever been. Remember in Q4 of last year, 632 million, 527 in Q3, and they still raised how much cash in Q1? Common stock issued 169 million. We had more cash going into Q1 last year, and they still raised 169 million. What do you think is going to happen right here? We're at the lowest we've been since 2020. Are you starting to see why I'm saying an ATM is likely? Sean Goodman is not fucking around here taking risks. Yes, everybody's bullish about Q2 through Q4. I get it, me too. But the bills got to be paid in Q1. And you don't want to drop your cash so low that the lenders start circling like vultures and you get in violation of debt covenants. So very long story here of why the ATM, why the price is being held down. I think that the upcoming expected dilution of 200 million shares is being factored in, and I think that the lenders are pushing the price down or pushed it down to get their VWAP number as low as possible. Perhaps they exited here, I don't know. If it was a 30-day VWAP, that would line up perfectly. I got to see an 8K. I got to see an 8K that the note exchange happened, and then we'll know. Alexander, what's up? He says box office in February will be a bummer, but won't start to pick up until Project Hail Mary on March 20th. Let's look at, I was updating some box office estimates yesterday morning. I think some better numbers came out after that. Slight updates, Q1 2026. So one thing that's really been fantastic about Q1 so far is that most of the Q4 carryover movies that I had forecast was left column, actual is right. Most of them are beating what I anticipated, which is good news. Those get a green box, not that green box. Wicked for Good did not hold up with the legs we were hoping for, but everything else is doing really good. And we're going to scroll down and look here at the remainder. But I mean, Q4 carryovers is what is saving our lunch right now. David, still too early to call. Anaconda is doing good. Marty Supreme, knocking it out of the park. Womp, womp, womp. All these movies. The Q1 movies have just been horrible compared to, I have very reasonable expectations. These are not pumper expectations. And when we can't even beat my reasonable expectations, this is bad. It's still early for 28 years later, so I'm not going to give it a color just yet. It could still hit 50 million. Night Patrol, jeez. Here we got some surprise ads. I was not expecting these, so that's good. No Other Choice, and Is This Thing On It? Maybe they were Academy Award contenders, so they added them into the slate. And then we had a nice little contribution from Lord of the Rings this weekend. So that's kind of brings us up to date of where we're at. Now, Mercy with Chris Pratt is coming out this coming weekend. It's already, you've probably seen on Twitter, expecting to bomb. I'm going to go see it. I'll go see it in IMAX 3D. It's made for IMAX. But early pre-sales are, very weak. And they're telling us that Avatar is likely to beat Mercy. Avatar on what? Its 5th week now is likely to beat Mercy on its opening weekend. So let's just say week. These are full run numbers, not opening weekend numbers. Week. Wuthering Heights, I think, will be the Rose or winning movie in February. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die might be a interesting sleeper movie. Maybe it does good. But we're basically pinning February on Wuthering Heights. There's nothing else here. And we're pinning it on what? A $75 million take? Let's say I'm off. Say I'm too bearish by 50%. $150 million? I don't know. Scream 7, I have it 70 million. Elvis. And then we move into March. I'm going out on a limb here with Hoppers, 125 million. We'll see. We got The Bride. We have better movies here in March. Reminders of Him. I don't know why I have that at 75 million. I need to go back and look at that. Project Hail Mary, I have at 150. So just on wide release titles, my estimate is somewhere around 1.5 billion. And there'll be some slop added to that from limited releases. So let's say 1.7 billion. But that means everything in here needs to hit. And so far, we're not off to a great start with Q1 movies. The only thing saving us is all of these beats up here. So, Alexander, I mostly agree with you. Wuthering Heights in February for the ladies. And then, we got some interesting movies, but nothing huge till March. Gabe says, why is the price pinned now? I think, Gabe, that the price became unpinned on January 8th, January 9th, actually. It is my working theory right now that the VWAP measurement period was 30 calendar days, and it was unpinned on the 9th so that it could go up. Retail FOMO, all the social media accounts. Here we go, MOAS coming. All that social media push so that the lenders could take their 100 million shares and unload them onto us, you, if you're buying, if you're falling for that nonsense that MOAS is starting because of silver or Japan or whatever nonsense they're pushing out there. They want the FOMO narrative out there on social media. The lenders do. AMC doesn't care. The lenders want the FOMO narrative because they have 100 million fresh shares they want to unload onto you. And so the price isn't being pinned, Gabe. You're just being sold fresh shares. And that's going to act as a ceiling. You see what I mean? They don't want to tank the price. They want to sell into strength and be out by February 2nd, is my working theory. So anytime retail or day traders, swing traders, whatever, tries to push it up, they're going to sell into that, which is just going to act like a lid. They'd like to see that lid step up if enough buyers present themselves. If enough of y'all show up, they'd love to sell you some fresh shares. They being the lenders. That's my working theory. Hope that makes sense. Anya says pout pout fish is too high. Yeah, that's just my rough guess on it, Anya. Could be too high. I don't know much about children's books because my kids are all grown. And perhaps Hoppers, which is a adventure, animation, comedy, sci-fi, is going to steal the thunder from Pout Fish. But as I get, every week I look at these numbers, I see what the expert consensus is out there from people that this is their only job to look into this stuff, and I adjust as necessary. So we'll see. Dave says Adam Aaron needs to be looking for other revenue feeds for Q1, more Swifty type events. Yes, I would love to hear what's that announcement he said that he couldn't tell us about that was going to potentially, if they make it happen, we'd find out about in January or February. What is it going to be? I don't know. I want to know just like you guys. Some folks in Discord were asking this weekend, was AMC's Adam Aaron's tweet about the Winter Olympics being available in 150 theaters in February, was that the news? No, I don't think so. 150 theaters is nothing. And Adam told us in that interview with Matt Belloni, Adam told us in that interview with Matt that the January, February announcement would not be sports related. So I don't think that was it. Just like you guys, I hope there's some surprise announcement. Sure would be nice. I'm sure the lenders wish he'd drop that announcement right now. Someone asked earlier, why February 2nd, Gabe? Why February 2nd? They got bills to pay in Q1. In fact, I think they have bills to pay so much so that they are more likely to do a forward agreement than a traditional ATM. I'm curious about that. If I'm correct that this is a almost hair on fire liquidity crunch, if they do a forward agreement with someone like Goldman, like they did a year ago, AMC gets immediate cash payment and they don't got to wait 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12 weeks for an ATM to be sold into the market. So we'll find out. It's fascinating stuff to watch. It's every day a college education. If you're willing to create some theories, read the filings, and then test them with actual data that we get every single day. My theories all center around a couple of things. These companies, man, someone got really mad this weekend when he was posting about GME, and I said, these companies, quit talking about AMC. Buddy, I look at so many more tickers than AMC and GameStop. Please I don't own AMC. When I say these companies, I'm talking a plurality. If I meant to say AMC and GameStop, I would have simply said it. These companies, these being speculative, cash-strapped, turnaround, pre-revenue, what have you. I mean, there is a huge bucket. These companies don't care about short squeezes. They care about raising cash. As Adam Aaron, going back to AMC, as Adam Aaron frequently tells you every quarter, we will do whatever is within our power to continue to ensure the company has adequate liquidity and do further repairs to the balance sheet. Do you understand what that means? Adam Aaron is the most plain spoken and truth teller out there. in terms of what is going to happen. Ryan Cohen, silent. Roger Hamilton, liar. David Mishery, liar. GTII, John Berta, George Palikaris, all liars, all these CEOs. Oh, the naked shorts. They need you in the play because they need to raise money, these companies. Adam Aron is the only one who is telling you straight up what is going to happen. But nobody wants to listen. We are going to do whatever is necessary to ensure adequate liquidity and to continue to repair the balance sheet because they must. And he tells you that. Plain language at least once a quarter, and it's in every 10Q since 2020. But people don't want to listen to that. I think you should listen. My theories around these companies is they're going to do whatever they need to ensure the company doesn't file bankruptcy. I'm talking the whole retail basket. Dozens and dozens of companies. This is not just AMC and GameStop. They're going to do whatever they need to ensure they survive and set themselves up for potential future success. Some of them are just bailing water, trying to not sink. And most of them sink, right? You've seen GTII, MMTLP, BBIG. The list is endless. BBBYQ. They try, but they can't bail fast enough. AMC's been lucky, but they're still bailing. They're still bailing water until the box office turns around. It just is what it is. I'm not saying AMC is going to go bankrupt, but in Q1, they're still bailing major water. These companies are going to do whatever they need to survive. That's one theory if you're trading speculative stocks. The lenders are not your friends. They also are trying to maximize their profits, and they will work with the company providing funding, but not put themselves at a disadvantage. They're going to have all sorts of agreements where they get shares at a discount. They get warrants, exchangeable notes. Many of these retail tickers, you've seen it play out. Mullen, BBBY, the old one that's bankrupt. You get these circle the drain exchangeable notes and share purchase agreements. The lenders are perfectly willing to hand the company money. Are they taking a loss? No. They're getting the shares at a discount. They're immediately selling them to you, and you keep buying because the price is going down, and you say it can't get any cheaper than this. Oh, yes, it can. Yes, it can, friends. If you're not paying attention to the financials and the filings and the wording in those documents, it certainly can get cheaper. Certainly can. I'm not talking AMC specifically. I'm talking these companies. They're going to do whatever they can to ensure they survive. The lenders are not your friends. They're looking for profit motives. And, you know, I kind of have this side working theory that most of the social media nonsense, if it is funded by anybody, it's funded by the lenders. It's not funded by the shorts. I mean, there are shorts probably that want to talk down a play, but there are lenders that want to talk up a play. There are lenders that are constantly getting shares in these companies. They're exchangeable notes and warrant execution. And they have every incentive to make you think the price is going up because they want to unload. I have no evidence to back this up, but if I do a follow the money theory, who stands to gain for pumping a shitty stock? Most of the time it's the lenders. C12 says Ryan Cohen is a troll. People hate Adam Aron for no reason. I agree. I understand people are mad at Adam. He went on the tour. He went on the tour. And people got mad because, you know, he was marketing the company. And he introduced ape. And in our initial analysis. We were too excited about APE. Even I failed to realize that was like my final wake-up call, that you better just pay attention to the filings. It doesn't matter what any CEO says, really. But when what they say, like Adam Aaron telling you, we're going to do whatever it takes to ensure the company has adequate liquidity and repair the balance sheet, when you can match up what they say with a warning in a risk factor in the 10Qs, you really ought to pay attention. Yeah. Adequate warning was there for all of us. And some people heeded it. The bears doubled down on it, but it was not incorrect. The bears were not incorrect. The company was telling us both verbally and in writing what was going to happen. And sometimes we get too bullish for our own britches and we fail to internalize what a filing means. So I spend every day just like, how do I not pay attention to social media in terms of believing it? It's entertaining as hell to see all the theories, and I'd love some of the theories to be true, but what is the company really telling us? That is all I need to focus on. Dave says, do you think Adam Aaron might be thinking of stepping down now that he's opened up about his recent health issues? I do, Dave. Maybe this year, maybe next year. Gabe says this is not organic for AMC. It's absolutely not organic, Dave. It's not organic. You saw the short interest on AMC doubled in this period. Short interest doubled. That's not organic. That's purposeful walking down of the price. It's people like me and almost everybody in my Discord just sitting back. We're not throwing money at this. Now I see the people, thanks for the discount, just bought it $2.20. Thanks for the discount, just bought it $2. Thanks for the discount, bought it $1.75. The bears are scared. Thanks for the discount, bought it $1.70. We will win. All of your little cheerleading stuff can't change the fact of what the lenders and the company have worked out since July. All of your cheerleading can't change what is about to happen in the beginning of February. The company has bills to pay in Q1. So most of us that are what I would say more risk averse, willing to take a speculative trade. I'm perfectly willing to take a speculative trade on AMC if I have an edge. And I think that there will be an edge when I believe the next upcoming dilution is close to finished. That's when I think we have an edge, because the company is limited to $150 million now for 180 days. That means unless they come up with some other deal, no more ATMs till June. And I'm not forecasting a cash burn once they fix Q1. So seems like, for me, a relatively safe time to throw a couple dollars down. Yeah, it's always a crapshoot. But if I can pick it up after the next dilution cycle and then see what happens in the excitement over Q2, Q3, Q4, and the company's not burning cash, maybe it ends up being a good trade like it was in the first half of 2024 for those of you that swung trade it. I did not. I did not swing trade it, in 2025. But there was an opportunity to. I was just worried about the company being out of shares. Now they got plenty of shares. So the bankruptcy risk in my mind is mostly behind us for the short term. And we expect things to get better into the second half of this year. Not organic, Gabe. Why they not just let it run up till Feb and sell into the big run up? I think they do want it to run up, Gabe, but they can't make people buy. And they have shares they need to unload, several million per day. So anytime it starts trading up above the whatever, probably the VWAP of the day or whatever price, they're looking at a lot of things, the economy, the market, They just want to be out of this trade by February 2nd is my belief. And so they will use any upward momentum to sell into it. But if there's no buyers, then what do? They still got to, they just sit on their hands that day and do nothing? Or do they say, well, let's just sell another 2 million and that tanks the price? I don't know. Zach says The Snowball, Warren Buffett and the Business of Life by Alice Schroeder, or is it Schrader, details interesting tidbits about Warren Buffett's grandfather and Warren Buffett's dad. I found them disturbing. All right. Let me take a picture of that so I can check. I've got another book I'm reading right here. Reading again, Market Wizards. Jack Schwager. Y'all should check that one out. I'll do some videos on it here this week, hopefully. Talking about risk management, proper diversification, yada, yada, yada. Ernest Buffett told people not to use his son's brokerage because his son wasn't good at picking stocks. His dad refused him a job. Wow. Gabe says, how can I learn all this stuff, different dilution techniques, hedging, and so on? Is there a university degree? There's not that I'm aware of, Gabe. My son is getting his degree right now in finance and accounting. He's going to be graduating here in a few months with his master's degree from one of the top business schools in the country. And he's going to be going in this field, probably working for, I don't know, one of the companies we don't like. I doubt it, but he's going to be working for an investment bank or venture capital or private equity, whatever job he can get. He's entertaining different interviews right now. And I ask him sometimes, are they teaching you guys this stuff? This very niche stuff that we're talking about, Gabe, to my knowledge, they don't teach it in normal finance classes. Certainly not in accounting. The concepts, yes, they teach. I took finance and accounting, but my degree was economics, so I didn't go into all of the upper level classes of accounting and finance. I just took the basics. I think that a lot of this stuff comes, for the experts on Wall Street, people probably that specialize in it. Perhaps some PhD level classes, PhD level research, or just getting to work for a company that does this stuff, and you become a master of it by osmosis. But how do we learn it? Listen to people that are trying to teach you and see if they're right. Start reading every financial filing. And when you come across paragraphs you don't understand, have AI help you break it down. What does this mean? Why is this here? What is boilerplate and what is new and specific to this? I get a 100-page document. I already know that 75% of it is boilerplate. I'm looking for the very specific language that makes this document unique. Why is that in there? That's not in there by accident. That's not in there because it's boilerplate. Those are the things to learn to filter out in your brain and then hone in on. And you got to be curious. You got to be curious. Why is that here? What does it mean? If nothing is in there by accident, why did they put that in there? And then the other thing I would tell you that is helpful, which I've done, is find some bond traders on YouTube or social media. They don't, ideally ones that aren't involved in these plays, so that you don't think they're giving you purposeful bad information. Find some bond traders and find people that are willing to teach and give you information. Because if one of the leading theories is that the lenders are not on our side, they're helping the company, but they also have a profit motive, you better learn how a lender thinks. You better learn how a bond trader thinks. And so I have cultivated some relationships where I have people, if I am trying to theorize 5 different reasons why this language is in there, what is a bond trader? Why are they interested in that? What does this mean? I run it by people much smarter than me. And then I add that to my bank of knowledge. If it plays out like they said, that expert was correct. Ching, leveled up. Experience level up 2 levels. Demetrios, howdy. He says, I like the way you speak. We're talking about money. Tell people to buy the popcorn, $29.99. Give money to the company. We need a surprise. I did buy the popcorn pass for AMC. I think that is a... thank you for reminding me about that, because in addition to the Highcroft, ring in the register to help minimize liquidity concerns in Q1, the popcorn pass is also, it's a little bit desperate because they're giving away popcorn profits for the rest of the year, but it's also a little bit smart, because if we buy that, and I did buy it in Q4 or Q1, that goes to liquidity needs right when the company needs it. If 1 million people bought a $30 popcorn pass, that's $30 extra million. If 100,000 people bought it, it's not quite as much, 3 million. But it's 3 million or 30 million that they didn't have at a time where they crucially need it. So I like the idea. I'm curious how the execution comes off. And if you go to the movies and if you go to AMC, you ought to consider buying the popcorn pass, at least before Q1 is up. I did buy it. I get popcorn now for $5. Even though I'm mostly eat keto and carnivore, I got to be careful about buying too much popcorn. But every few visits I'll get a popcorn bucket. But I almost feel bad now. And this is also just something to think about. Like, our average ticket for food and bev when my wife and I go is $30, $40, $50. And now with the popcorn pass and the other rewards and the bonus points, and yet, now our average ticket's $20, $25, $30. We've come down. So I worry about that, affecting revenue and operating income later in the year. If too many regulars buy the popcorn pass, yes, it provided liquidity at a critical time right now, but it's going to eat into profit margins the rest of the year. What are you going to do? I mean, you got to make tough choices. I'm sure Sean Goodman and Adam had that talk. What are you going to do? We need fucking cash. We'll take the hit on the back end. We're not going to go broke selling popcorn for $5. We'll give up some profit, but we need the cash right now. And Zachary, people usually buy pop with popcorn. That's a huge profit margin. And I kind of use it. You know, I know I'm getting the popcorn so damn cheap now. I tell my wife, get something extra, get whatever you want. You know, I'm okay trying to keep our average spend up. Unless, you know, if we're going to 3 movies in a week, I might, hey, let's go easy on this one, okay? We can't be spending $40 or $50 here. Plus, yeah, my ticket's free. I don't have her on A-list, but I probably should. I'm not trying to drop $200 a week watching movies. But we'll, you know, instead of going out to eat, we'll go to the AMC dine-in and we'll get some decent food. I mean, it's much better than the regular AMC food. Fancy burgers, chicken wings, handmade pizzas. I used to get a bunch of the salads, but they've pretty much scaled all of those back. Anya says, I don't think there are many people in your movie-going bracket. I know, Anya. I know. Which even drives me nuts, Anya, the people that criticize me for my due diligence. You're sitting here throwing stones, these people, and they don't even go to movies. Like, give me a break. I'm out here spending my money to help everybody out. I enjoy going to movies. So does my wife. And the only place we go is AMC. We're not stock owners. But it's, what else can I do right now? I'm willing to spend money on an entertainment budget, and that's where we choose to spend it because we're not big into going out drinking and dancing this year. We'll talk more about that in a couple months. So, movies it is. Zachary says she definitely should get A-list. I need to add up, Zachary. Now, I went to over 100 movies last year. She did not go to all of them with me because she doesn't like every movie. She'll go to the ones she wants. I should add up on an average month. Would we have saved money if she was on A-list and put her on it, if so? Where are you at, Zachary? Tell me. He says, I want AMC Dine-In, but it probably won't happen. Webull at $7.95 coming up. ONDS at $13.77, up 13%. Holy smokes, guys. So ONDS now smacking into my arbitrary supply zone. Let's move this over. We'll see. We'll see how well this supply zone is respected. Let's look at Railtown. We haven't looked at Railtown this morning. Have we? No, there's no freaking volume on this thing. Womp, womp, womp. Get busy, William. Pump that crowd up. Oh, we did talk Railtown a little bit because I said 90% of my buys have been down here. And I have some below the demand zone, good till canceled. We're just waiting. We're waiting till I'm saying don't expect any revenue news before June or July. But to put you in the proper frame of mind, my frame of mind, if you're thinking 2 years out, you'll be patient enough for this play. Am I saying that it's going to take 2 years? No, I'm not saying that. In my brain, said I'm willing to let this thing develop for a couple years. I know that probably not going to see revenue till middle of this year. So stop all the whining and crying out there on social media. every day. This is not even a ticker that needs to be covered every day, but people do. Do you know that people have been covering this stock 5 or 6 hours a day as it drops from 70 cents to 25? Like, why? Look at the volume. The volume is non-existent. 37, 14,000, 11,000, 2,000 shares a day. Why do you need to live stream this shit? There's nobody shorting this. Well, there probably are some people shorting it. The market makers have been taking their toll. People that wanted to take profits have been taking their toll, but there's zero reason to be covering this stock every day. Have a reasonable entry. Understand it's a very speculative pre-revenue play, and then just sit back and wait and hope that the company reports revenue that we like. $1 million, $2 million. They're telling you on other YouTube channels it's going to be $1 billion. It's going to be billions in revenue. Oh, Tony, don't know what he's talking about. Ooh, okay. I hope you're right, because I'm loading up right here, but I don't think that the exaggerators are correct. GameStop this morning in the red, only 6 pennies now, 21.04. Nice little crawl back up from the lows of the morning. Kitty Cowboy, how you doing? Andre says, I do what I can with my additional purchases. The frustrating thing for me is that my local AMC theater doesn't supply enough souvenir items for me to buy when I want them. Yeah, I wonder how they do that allocation, Andre. I don't know. I bought a couple of popcorn buckets. I think the last one I probably bought was the Top Gun Maverick. If you can go back in your mind, I have maybe 3 or 4 popcorn buckets. They're on my bookshelf around the corner. But I decided that for me, I'd rather buy food or buy shares. So I don't contribute to the popcorn bucket mania, but I've seen some very impressive collections, and it would be fascinating to see in, decades ahead if those collections are worth some money. Kitty Cowboy says, thinking of re-entering GME. At what price did you re-enter? So my most recent buys, Kitty, were at 2015 on December 31st and 2020 on 11/21. And I thought about doing a TA video this weekend, and I'm like, I don't know, with this Trump Greenland news, in my mind, it's a 50-50 shot whether we are able to claw our way back up or whether we drop below $20. So I'm just gonna, guess what? Be patient. While the pumper channels are telling you it's a fallen wedge and it's gonna go up and to the right. Do y'all remember Trey doing that right before he burned out? He drew that fallen wedge all the way till the day his channel blew up. I don't know what to tell you. It's in a bullish fallen wedge. Get off my jock. I remember that. The GameStop people are doing that same shit right now. It's in a bullish fallen wedge. It's bound to turn around. Maybe. But would you allow me the grace to interject that perhaps future upcoming earnings and revenue results might impact the thesis? Would you allow me the grace to talk about that? If they're good, it'll go up. If they're not so good, but nobody wants to talk about they don't want to talk about that. They just want to draw arrows that go like this. I saw this weekend. I mean, you can't make this shit up. They want to complain about every other channel being a pumper when they are the pumpers and drawing arrows at It's going to 200. Nowhere it can go but up. When someone can't even use the right language, like when they tell you it's going to capitulate and go up, like I automatically don't trust you if you don't know what capitulate means. You mean it's going to consolidate? Capitulation is when bullish momentum ends and the price tanks. This is how they do size, style. It's bound to go up from here because why? Because I need it to. I promised my wife. My kids are counting on me. No. This is not TA, friends. This is hopium. This is cult bullshit. Use a modicum of common sense. It's fun. It's funny. It's fine. But drawing a line does not make things happen. Posting revenue, earnings, guidance, news, that's what makes things happen. We've been stuck in a channel now since June of 2024. And that channel has been declining since July, since December, May. Hopefully we consolidate around this demand zone and then good news comes out and we can get a bounce. I like to see this consolidation here. I'm buying, look, 2065, 2020, 2015. This is where I like to buy. Does it mean I'm going to be correct? Does it mean it can't fall below that? It doesn't mean that. It could absolutely fall below that if the Q4 results are worse than we are hoping for. This is a speculative play still. They have improving margins. They got plenty of cash. There's no bankruptcy risk. There's execution and operation risk. The market's going to penalize them for the falling revenue, for the declining stores. They could, on balance, reward them for improving margins. But you're still looking at a very tiny operating profit, a core business that is collapsing. The only way they're improving it is by cutting stores. And they're making their earnings through interest, not profit. I see people say, oh, they're going to have 500 million profit this year. No, their profit is going to be tiny. The bulk of their earnings is from interest income. That is not profit per se. I look at profit from operations. So let's get our vernacular correct. It's fine to have interest income. It's a beautiful balance sheet. Let's call it 8.8 billion in cash, 450 million in Bitcoin, 4 billion in debt, gives them a book value of about $11.80. So that's kind of like our safety net. It's definitely Ryan Cohen's safety net. He's got a cost basis around $3. Book value's $11, $12. He's going to be fine. Ryan Cohen's going to be fine. I want us to be fine in a best case and a worst case. Worst case is some bad news comes out and we get wrecked. The price drops 20, 30, 40%. I'm not anticipating that, but I mean, I live in a world of reality. Unexpected bad news can come out as much as unexpected good news. The reason I don't focus on the bad news now is I don't think filings happen by accident. I don't think things that are in filings happen by accident. Going back to that theme that we were talking about an hour ago, and there's a new filing from GameStop that management wants to set some market cap and cumulative EBITDA hurdles to reward the CEO. And I don't think that those levels were set by accident. So in my little bullish heart, that gives me a little bit of belief that over the next 2, 5, 10 years, we could be bullish. It's okay. But you better have the right timeline in your brain. And if I got to wait that long, I'm going to keep my position relatively small relative to the portfolio. And I'm going to manage my risk by only buying at the absolute cheapest prices I can get. Can we time the bottom perfectly? No. You can already see my most recent 3. Well, I'm just barely in the green on my most recent 3 purchases by under $1. It wouldn't take much to topple me into the red. But my general comfort zone is buy in the demand zones unless it crashes through them. And then if it crashes through them, you better reassess the DD real quick. Sometimes if it crashes through them, I will exit and wait for sanity to return. Depends on the news, depends on why it's crashing. If it were just general market malaise, I might just say, well, when things get better, when sentiment in the market overall gets better, this will come back and I'll add to the position. It depends. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's get this off of here. This is pumper nonsense. You can go to the pumper channels, the cult channels for that bullshit. No, I don't want to delete all drawings. I just want to delete this bullshit. Would I take an arrow like that? You damn Skippy, I would. You damn Skippy, I would. But it ain't going to happen like that in a day. I'm loading up here where it makes sense for me. Loading up. Sorry. I'm buying some shares. Loading up, that's not the correct phrase. I don't load up speculative stocks anymore. When would I load up? When I see some news or some social media narrative matched with some bullish candles multiple days, where I know for sure that the sentiment has shifted and we might have a runaway freight train, then I might load up or buy some calls. That's, when you think you might have an edge. The chart and the news and the social media is all telling me something has shifted. Then it's a little more risk-free to load up. Right now, we're fully at risk. Like I said, I was going to do a TA video on GameStop this weekend, but it's hard for me to say. It's 50-50 whether we go up or down from here. We'll see. Does adding magnets and rockets to the chart help? I don't know, Anya. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff, huh? Seen a lot of crazy stuff over the years. That dude says, I've been making money listening to you. I said AMC was coming down to 135, probably lower. And look where we are. Yeah, our price target on AMC is even lower than that now. That dude. But I'm talking like by end of March. There's going to be some volatility this next couple weeks while we wait for the ATM. But it would not surprise me to see $1.30 or $1.25 or $1.20. We went through the why and the math on that a couple hours ago, if you want to scroll back. I don't have any points of interest. I'm not tracking BlackRock's algorithm. I'm just looking at the fucking filings and coming up with what I think is a reasonable market cap and the expected dilution. And then, wouldn't you know it, using math, logic, and filings, I come up with a price target that exactly matches the POI that the BlackRock algorithm promoters. We spent $2 million figuring out BlackRock's algorithm and where the stock is headed. I'm like, I saved $2 million with Geico. All I did was read the filings and apply a modicum of common sense. And I came up with the same price target. Anyways, I joke, but I'm not joking. UK Dave says, you're a level-headed guy. Well, I mean, that's debatable, but I try. Can I ask your thoughts on Trump, Greenland? Just interested from this side of the pond. Dave, I voted for Trump because I can't get behind any Democrat policy. I'm probably more libertarian policy-wise, but if I got to choose between two parties, I'm not going to pick the socialist one. They both suck, to be honest, Republican and Democrat. I voted for Trump, but I'm not super happy with everything he's done, and I'm even more upset about the things that he said he was going to do that he didn't do. But, you know, at least we don't have a Democrat in office. Sorry, this is not a politics channel, so let me get off of that topic. To answer your question, what do I think about Greenland? I don't really know. I mean, I understand the defensive, the strategic need for Greenland. I think we already have a military installation and a military grade landing strip there. I mean, I guess if you're worried about Russia shooting some missiles over into the U.S., it could be advantageous to have an installation in Greenland. Why do we need to own the whole thing? I don't know. I don't know what his end game is there. Is this just a puff in the chest? Like, oh, we just added Venezuela and Greenland to our, you know. I don't know what he's trying to do. I think if you have a good military relationship with the country and they're allowing you to put radars and landing strips and military personnel on a country, why do you need to own that country? He's trying to distract everybody from the GameStop squeeze. Sorry, I forgot where that button was. He's trying to distract everybody from the GameStop squeeze while they get the what do you call it? T0 NYSE. They got to get the T0 online so that when it squeezes, they can pay us out with crypto tokens. It is amazing, Dave, what I'm telling you shit that people are saying on social media. They're just strategically lining things up so we can get paid out on crypto tokens on the New York Stock Exchange blockchain once GameStop squeezes because they don't have enough cash. Therefore, they'll pay us with a CBDC or some shit coin, maybe PP coin. Who knows? Yeah, Dave, the trade war and the tariff nonsense caught me by surprise this weekend. I was really worried this weekend. And where are we at right now? SPY down 1%, NASDAQ down 1%. I mean, the markets are worried too. I just want economic stability and lower taxes. Cut the fucking government programs. I was so excited when they led off with the Doge program, you know, where they go in and just clean house Why did that stop? Cut every government agency budget by 20 or 30%. It's all fucking nonsense. Cut them all. Cut people's taxes. Cut wasteful spending. Cut sending money everywhere around the world when we're not taking care of our people here. I know that's selfish. But the future is problematic if we don't get some fiscal control. So I thought they were on the right track, and then that quickly derailed. And who knows what the fuck's happening now. Stay flexy. Zachary says, I like to be early. When a true recovery occurs, then people make excuses why it's too expensive to enter. What were we talking about, Zachary? Was that AMC or GameStop? Yeah, and nobody, whichever ticker you're talking about, nobody can call the bottom perfectly. And that's why I tend to do these kind of step-in buys, like this GameStop here. 2065, 2034, 2020, 2015. The lower it goes in price, the more I increase the number of shares I'm buying. My initial purchases, if it's still in a downtrend, are going to be small. But when I see the little recoveries and can actually identify the demand zone, whether we're talking AMC or GameStop, that's when I will identify where I'm willing to buy in. And for AMC, you could draw a demand zone right here at $1.40, $1.50. That's reasonable if you ignore the fact that a ATM is about to happen. I saw someone this weekend, guys, telling people on his Twitter that he sees AMC doing a 2.5 to 5x from here soon. I'm like, bruh. There's an ATM coming up in a couple of weeks, right? They're about to, between the exchangeable notes and the ATM, we're about to have 200 million shares dropped on us. You know that, right? No, they'd rather just get mad at Adam Aaron than read a filing. When things get surprise dropped on them, oh, Adam Aaron's trying to stop a run-up. No, dumbasses, you don't read. You don't read. Yeah, Kleindropper, 4.4 trillion spending in 2019, 7.4 spending in 2026. What the fuck happened? Put me in charge. I will go up there and wreck some shit. What happened to these people that were going to go in? That department's gone. We don't need you. Gone. Everybody else, by the end of the next 30 days, I need a plan to reduce your budget by 25%. And then we'll look at ongoing cuts from there. I bet you would see zero impact to service levels accorded to the citizens from all these social media programs, because there's so much waste and grift going on in the government. I mean, I had a very small window into that. I was in the military for 9 years. I was in the corporate world for 15 years. And let me tell you the difference between them. They had some similarities, but in the military, we would come up with a budget. And if at the end of the year, you had not spent all of your budget, they'd have a meeting and say, what else? What do we need? What can we waste some money on? Because if we don't spend this money, we can't increase our budget next year. That's how you get bloat. Nobody cares about cutting budgets. Nobody cares about, here's a win for underspending your budget. It's how can we make sure we spend everything so we can ask for more next year? That kind of shit drives me nuts. And I imagine it's like that in every government agency. Versus my 15 years when I was in the corporate world, when things were good, we had budgets, we had surplus, we had travel, we had parties, raises, bonuses. And when the things were bad in the market or our sector or the world, the cost cutting got brutal. The corporate world, they don't fuck around. When it's time to cut, they cut. Paramount Gold, PZG, only finds AZ, up 13%. Yeah, we have a tab over here, gold and silver, PZG. Expiration of what? Is it just gold, gold and silver? I don't know anything about this company, but look at our baskets here. GDXJ is our basket of gold junior miners. It's up 5.5%. SILJ. Let me put it on this screen so you guys can see it better. And let's get rid of bottom right. Get rid of that. GDXJ up 5.5%. 6%, SILJ 4.69%. These are your baskets of junior gold and junior silver miners. SLV up 5.2%, Highcroft up 13.5%. If you have a promising junior miner that's doing better than the basket, slap yourself on the back. PZG looks like it's doing great today. Highcroft, HYMC, also up 13%. With the uncertainty going on right now, bonds are falling, equities, people are fleeing it, and gold and silver are going up. And so everybody that's in that little bucket is benefiting today until things change. I've been long SLV for quite a while now, and every day I wake up, I'm like, Tony, you're up so much, you should take some profits off. But I do think that with the instability and turmoil and all the nonsense going on, that things could move much higher. So I'm letting some of it ride. We'll see. Neil, how you doing, amigo? Let's go GameStop. Neil is a fellow GameStop investor. If I'm not mistaken, you're still long GameStop, right, Neil? Praying all is well for you. Same from us to you, Neil. Hat tip and prayers to you and your family. Cheers to you. We've done quite a bit of talk about GameStop today. Neil, I don't know if you were here for that, but I like buying when it's in the buy zones, and we're pretty damn close. I call this the buy zone. This is the no-no zone, and this is the figure out if we need to lighten up on the position zone and hope that it goes higher. But everything, when you're going up, everything depends on news. So don't think when I talk about GameStop or swing trading, any ticker where I got these, I want you guys to get this in your brain. The supply zones is where we really do some very difficult analysis about, is this running because of hype or is it running because we need to hold on? Like I did sell everything here, $33. Back here in Roaring Kitty days, I sold half only at $60. Should have sold all, but I thought it might keep running. And then we woke up to a dilution announcement, so I sold all the rest, but I lost $12 a share of missed gains. I was in at like $20, I think. So, I mean, I didn't come out in the red. Yeah, I bought it $29.70 a couple days prior. So, you know, it's, sorry, you can't see that screen, can you? I bought on 6.3, sold on 6.6, sold on 6.7, waited for it to come back down, rebought, sold at 33. And now I'm back. I've been in accumulation mode for a while down here at these lows, praying that we don't go below this demand zone. I think it's a relatively safe play for speculators. I'm not telling you guys you're going to be millionaires. I'm not saying it can't go lower. I'm just saying I like speculative bets if I size my risk appropriately and get a relatively risk-free entry, and then we pray for good news. And I think the news ahead for GameStop is going to be good. Yeah. I know. Revenue's going to go down, store closures. But on the flip side, margins are going to go up. Margins are going to go up, I think. And I think Ryan Cohen having $8.8 billion provides some, for us bulls, provides some reason to believe that there could be a plan. I'm very much a realist, so I understand the bears when they say there is no plan. I get it. This is a speculative play. You're speculating that he has no plan, you bears. I'm speculating he has one. I don't know who's going to be right, which is why I say use caution in these trades. I'm buying because I think I'm more likely to be right, but I don't shy away from the fact that I might be wrong. Anya says, just read an article by Eric Sprott to remind you not to sell. That's right, Anya. When you're thinking about getting negative on silver, hi-yo, silver, read something from Eric Sprott. Do you anything about PRT, Permrock, oil and natural gas? No. I've shied away from many of these. I did pay a lot of attention to MMTLP before its run up. And I'm watching this other one, AZST, this other CEO that's been coming on crying about naked shorts. It's entertaining, but I don't know about exploratory oil and gas companies. Not really my strong area of expertise, but I did a lot of reading and research into Torchlight, MMTLP, NextBridge before the run up. The videos are there. Go check my playlist called Pump and Dump Diaries. I called the run up and then the dump off on MMTLP a month before it happened, just by reading and watching social media. It went exactly as we forecast. There would be a run up, there'd be filing of an S3, a approval of the S3, and then the price would tank. People on social media would be telling you don't sell, and then you'd end up with nothing. The shorts didn't have to cover, and you'd get shares in a privately traded public company that you couldn't unload. I mean, literally laid this out a month before it all happened. Lost a lot of viewers. You're a shill. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm dumb. I just read filings and apply common sense. Plus, I had seen that everybody that was pumping MMTLP had also done the same fucking bullshit for Torchlight, and they were famously wrong then. They're just rebooting their DD from Torchlight. You got a company that was not actively drilling. Even the drill results that were posted by social media were lies, fabricated due diligence. And they think Chevron or someone's going to come in and buy these acreage or these leases for billions of dollars. It's nonsense, man. I believe the markets are pretty efficient. And if there truly was that sort of value to the property, the market wouldn't have allowed MMTLP to be trading at $1 or $1.50. And when you see it run from $1.50 to $2 up to $10, $12, $13, and you're up 5, 6, 10x on something that is about to be worth zero, as soon as they go private, you ought to think about selling, taking some profits off. But what did people do? It went up and then it started tanking, and they were like, it's looking better and better. Like tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. You're about to go to zero because the company's going private. Why why are they listening to these people telling them to keep buying? I just don't get it. Same nonsense that happened in Bed Bath & Beyond. What is wrong with people on social media? I mean, I get it, being bullish about box office or Pokemon cards or drones here with ONDS. But when you're holding a company that has told you they're going private or says they're likely to file bankruptcy, what the fuck are you doing? If you get a blessing given to you, take the fucking blessing. Dave says, thoughts on Netflix, Warner Brothers, Paramount. I don't trust Netflix, Dave. I don't trust Netflix. I see they're trying to change their whole messaging. We're going to respect the window, they say. I don't believe it. Do you? It also, strangely, isn't it shaping up into a political battle? Like Netflix is pushed by the libs. Paramount's pushed by the conservatives. Is that correct? Are y'all seeing that sneak into the discussion? But in general, not a fan of Netflix. Don't trust them. Anya says, can you raise your supply zone for ONDS so it can run? Anya, what we want to see is a breakout above the supply zone. Having it there is important so that we can recognize where people are selling. But if the bulls can break through it, then often, look back at Highcroft. Once that supply zone gets broken, if the news is good, you can have major run-ups. I got my colors backwards here. See how Highcroft had this supply zone? I mean, it's very hard to draw a supply zone on Highcroft because it's just been in a major run. The demand zone was a little easier. But once it broke through, whether you have the zone here or down here or here, every time it broke through, it just kept going. $40! Holy shit. $40 on Highcroft. Let's hear the whiners complain about Highcroft now. It's a scam. Only buy GameStop. These people that bought at $1.50, $1.60 have increased their profits from $1.50 to $40 fucking dollars. Now, In what world other than some mentally disabled cult leader are you going to tell me this is a bad trade? You have to exclude all fact, all evidence, all data, and be mentally disabled to say GameStop over the same time period was a better trade. Like, can you at least be objective so I can attempt to respect you? No, you don't even want anyone to respect you. You just want to push a narrative. AMC was involved, therefore it's evil. Private equity. They're pulling the strings. Fucking nonsense, man. Fucking nonsense. $40 fucking dollars. Let's go. Hi-yo silver. I'm not slamming GameStop. I've been swing trading GameStop for a long time. I'm slamming the people that shit talk every single ticker you can imagine. I don't care if it's NVIDIA. I don't care if it's Carvana. I don't care if it's Hycroft. They have an inability, a mental disability to properly analyze other trades and recognize when a chart has turned, recognize when economic conditions are favoring something like a metal. You guys need to learn to see through the bullshit of who is trying to silo you into one trade to get you to leave all common sense and rationality to the wayside and pile all your money into one ticker. This is really horrible advice, people that are doing that. You better learn to pull your head up out of these people's asses and diversify into some different stuff and quit looking at everything in a negative way. If in your mind the only thing you can own is GameStop, you're going to misanalyze everything because you're going to start from a position of, are there private equity people on the board? Oh, well, then it's dumb. Do they have debt? Well, then it's dumb. Do they have $9 billion in cash? No, well, then it's dumb. It's just like stupid. Nobody starts their analysis like that except dipshits. You got to think more about fundamentals, macroeconomics, what's going on, filings and financials, insider purchases. Look at, oh man, I mean, the most bullish signal for Hycroft was Eric Sprott piling money into it. Holy cow, $40. Crazy. There's going to be people that buy new homes from Hycroft Mine. $1.60 to $40. And it's probably not over. Probably not over. Unity Software up 2.3% today. Another banger over the last year. $13.90 up to $52, currently trading at $41.90. It's one I have eyeballs on this year. Let's look at a couple of other meme stocks. BYND, Anya's favorite. I'm just teasing Anya. 96 cents. I haven't been highly motivated to circle back and do any follow-up DD on Beyond, but I probably should, because if they did get their finances in order, there could be a pop. But we haven't really looked at Beyond since this run-up opportunity and get-out opportunity back in October. So maybe we'll come back to that. I just don't see a pressing need. Oh, Beyond Meat did come out with some energy drinks. That's kind of interesting. But I'm not spinning any DD cycles. Looking at that ticker, maybe I'll end up regretting it. Finger Motion, FNGR, $1.10, down 2.3%. I did share some thoughts on a recent evening live stream on Finger Motion and some posts on X. I did buy Finger Motion this morning at 109 in pre-market. Why? let's go on a single chart so you can see what I'm looking at here. FNGR. I have swung trade this before, back in 2023, back in 2024, and just been patiently waiting. $1.08, $1.30, ran up to $4 or $5. It's back in the demand zone now. Could be here for 2 or 3, 4 months. It is my belief with finger motion. This is a retail momentum ticker only. I'm not advocating the company. Their financials are a bit of a mess. They can't seem to collect on their accounts receivable. They're probably going to need to raise some cash, which is when you get these pump cycles, typically. There is a well-entrenched, in my opinion, paid network to pump this stock. And it would not surprise me to see it again. It all depends. Do they just dilute at $1? Do they dilute at $1.10? Or do they try and promote it and then sell into strength? I think it's going to be the latter. This is not a go all in stock. This is, if you like gambling and you don't want to spend the money to go to Vegas, this is kind of like a black or red roulette table bet. Are we going to get in cheap and then they promote it and we 2, 3, 4, 5x our money? Or are they going to announce dilution and we get wrecked by 50%? I don't know. But I'm willing to put a little bit of money on black between $1 and $1.10. So I did my first rebuy at $1.09. I should probably put that on here. Buy. Not a ticker I'm recommending to you. I'm just talking to you random shit. My Discord already knows this. If they're in the VIP, already talked about it in pre-market. Just sharing thoughts before we wrap up for lunch today. People always say, Tony hates finger. He's always talking bad about it. No. I talk about when to sell. I'm sorry. I don't give people sell instructions. I talk about when the chart is topping out. We talked about it here. We talked about it here. We were right both times. I talked about when I bought at the beginning of 2025, the end of 2024. I did. I tweeted out those buys. Nobody wants to give me credit for the tweets about the buys. They just want to complain when I sell. All right. You hold them. You hold as it falls all the way back down. I'm going to be selling. Unless the company announces some major turnaround in revenues or profits. If they promote it and it runs up, I'm going to be selling again. We'll see. I'll put a couple markers on the table. Beyond Finger, GNS. Oh, man, GNS. They say it's about to take off because of a lawsuit. Good Lord. $367 down to 59 cents. What a train wreck. Well, good luck with that lawsuit. That's all I'm going to say. You need a win. There are a considerable amount of shares that will be added to the free float here around the end of January, coming on board from bringing their Genius Resorts or whatever the hell it's called on board. Those shares are locked up, I think, till the end of January. You're going to see a lot more liquidity. Maybe it's good for the stock. Maybe it's not good, but Not a ticker I'm particularly bullish on. But if it got cheap again, I might take a couple markers on black. 20 cents up to $1.80. That's kind of fun. Not interested at 59 cents. DJT, 14 bucks. Gabe says, is it too risky to buy in Hycroft? I mean, not if you talk to the Hycroft people, it's not. It's too risky for me, Gabe. I am to buy in. I established my position long ago and my position in SLV. And for the super speculative trader, if you think silver is going to $300, it's not too late to buy into Hycroft or SLV or anything. Really comes down to how accurate your crystal ball reading is about what happens with the price of metals. My ability to forecast is not that good. I've got a long position. I'm just letting it ride. We're in good shape. Until things change, I'm just going to let it ride. Let it ride, baby. Dave says, oh, yeah, sorry, that was a repeat. Netflix, Warner Brother, Paramount. All right. It is just about time to stop for breakfast, lunch, what have you. I did not eat breakfast. I'm on my second cup of coffee. So any last minute questions? Now's your chance. ONDS up 15% this morning. Holy fucking smokes. Was there new news? Oh, yeah, we got a price target raise from Oppenheimer. Remember after the investor day last week, I said I'd be watching for some price target upgrades from the analysts. Well, we got one. We got several. Northland raised theirs to $16. Lake Street, $19. Oppenheimer, $16. Well, there you go. Everybody fucking raised their price targets. A bully. That's a 12-month price target. Very bullish news. I hope you're paying attention to ONDS. Could be a very interesting ticker over the next 2 to 3 years. If you're looking for a little bit of drone or defense spending, check out ONDS. Check out my previous coverage on it. Do your own DD. Still speculative, but looks promising. AMC, $1.60. GameStop in the green now. Let's go. 21.18. Tesla down 2%. The SPY's down 1.25%. And NASDAQ down 1.25%. So, I mean, considering that the general indexes are in the red, if you got any ticker that is in the green today, that's pretty good. Silver, gold, GameStop, ONDS. How much is green? Bitcoin's at 90,000. One thing we need to think about in terms of GameStop also is we're running out of days for Bitcoin to get back up to GameStop's buy-in price. What was that buy-in price? $106. Otherwise, GameStop's going to have a loss. Non-cash, but it will affect the earnings negatively if we can't get Bitcoin back up. Just something to keep in mind. At what did I say here? Each $10,000 under 96 is a $47 million loss. Did I mean to say each? Should be each 10K under 106, right? So if it were to drop to 86,000, yeah, it's like a $95 million loss. Well, hopefully Bitcoin turns around for GameStop. Anya, good question. When can AMC exercise the warrants in Hycroft? The question is really, Anya, when do AMC's warrants expire? I think it is March of this year. Let me double check. Grok, when do AMC's Hycroft? Oh, all right. 5-year term, meaning March of 2027. All right. So they got a year. When can they exercise them, Anya? At any time. Probably what I would do is just exercise and sell, or if they can trade the warrants, just trade the warrants. AMC's sitting at a huge profit on those warrants right now, $30 million at least. And we know that they need cash. So it would not surprise me at any point during Q1 to see AMC announce that they sold the rest of their warrants or exercised and sold. But if Eric Sprott talked any sense into them, maybe they're holding to $50, $60, $100. Imagine if Hycroft went up that high and AMC sold for a $90 million profit. Imagine the fucking toma that the naysayers would be forced to have shoved down their gullets. Just imagine. I mean, even a $30 million profit at this point, the company is more than doubled their original investment. It's not too shabby. Anybody, I've said for many years, you must understand the timing. 5 to 7 year play. All these shit talkers have zero ability to understand timing. Now, here we go. I'd prefer that they hold on as long as they can, Anya. Whatever move up Hycroft can capture, at the point that they do sell, that's less dilution that shareholders have to deal with. I would prefer not to see $150 million of ATM. Every $10 million that their warrant value goes up in Hycroft, that's $10 million less of an ATM that they would need. But I know Sean, he's going to do the whole thing anyways, isn't he? He's gonna sell what he was authorized. He's gonna take as much risk off the table as possible. Manage that liquidity. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be around in Discord. Discord's free. Links in the video description. There are some paid rooms if you scroll down on the link and you want full access, a couple dollars a week. I don't advertise Discord. I'm not going to tell you again how to find it. If you want a Discord of non-hopium, non-nonsense, actual traders doing hard analysis and having real discussion, good and bad, about every ticker you can imagine, we hope to see you over there. Thank you, and we'll probably do this again tomorrow. Maybe. I was going to say maybe this evening. Yeah, maybe we'll do one this evening. We'll see. I got to go eat. Y'all have a good day.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaire. Short squeeze plays where fortunes flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Ready warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, our ass is in sight. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, more assets in sight. Hedge funds trembling, Kenny's in shock. GameStop stock, it'll never stop. Diamond hands to rocket ships. We're not selling, we buy every dip. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Up and to the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Up and to the right, more assets in sight. Billions in cash on the balance sheet. We will win even if they cheat. Dilute us more, we don't care. But value grows with every share. The doubters say it can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.